Hello everyone, over here I present you all the new BMW 1 Series. That's right, it's the new generation and I have mixed feelings about it. Let me talk about it right now. For those of you who are curious, BMW is my way of pronouncing BMW. It's actually the German way of pronouncing it. In Germany they pronounce it as BMW, but in English we say BMW. So, back to the point. This particular BMW 1 Series costs 51,000 euros, and this is exactly why I mentioned I have mixed feelings about it. But let's talk about the design first and what they did with this particular generation and the option list. You get a 360-degree parking camera with parking sensors at the front and at the rear, and this is worth it given that's 51,000 euros. And just look at those 5-spoke alloys, including with those red calipers. Now when it comes to the design, it has certain references to the Z series. It reminds me of the Roadster, the BMW Roadster. And now this is why I have mixed feelings, because there was a time the previous generations had this proud BMW look. Now it should be noted it's directly related to the Mini Cooper. The previous generation had stronger references to the Mini Cooper, whereas when you look at this generation, it seems better. Like it seems like you can tell there's a gap between Mini and BMW despite them sharing the same platform. Towards the side, they've played it evolutionary, but take a moment and listen to the sound of the door. I just love this. BMW has one of the best door sounds. It's just amazing. You don't really get this often from Mercedes these days, or the Volkswagen Group. Actually, with the Volkswagen Group, it depends really on which car. Towards the rear, this is where things get very interesting. They've done some art with the rear lights. And when I say art, I mean they made it more interesting. This, for instance, looks like something you would see on the X series at least 10 years ago, or it looks like something you would have seen on the touring models, like the BMW 3 series. Because there was a time the first generation, second generation 1 Series they had discrete rear lights, really. So this looks more interesting, if I'm being honest. It's good. In fact, from this angle, it looks a bit like a touring. And the seats have the M detail towards them, because this is the M trim level. The seat belts are nice to look at. Just look at this. And you even get the M logos over there. Well, not logo, but the theme over there, you see? The stitching detail. And look at this. They've modernized the interior. But despite all that fancy modernization, look at what's this over here. This, like when I opened the passenger side door, I just spotted this and I was like, what? Why do you need to have those prominent latches over there? Why not keep it a bit discreet? So checking out the interior of the BMW 1 Series, one thing I just noticed is this huge steering wheel. I mean, look at this. I don't know if it's just me, but the steering wheel looks bigger or something, but it is thick to hold on to, and this is something I'm not a fan of, because the Volkswagen Group, they have more interesting steering wheels in the sense it's thinner to hold on to. I get more grip, whereas this feels like I'm holding the tire of a mountain bike. But otherwise, the controls, the details are easy to use, and this is where BMW has the trump card. The ease of use, especially for the infotainment system. You get driving palettes, and I like this detail you get on the steering wheel. It's a bit like a bit industrial. I like it. It's interesting. Now, for the rest of the interior, this is where things get very interesting. They played it evolutionary, making references to the I series models. In wake of electric cars, everybody has gone on the route of simplicity, and for this 1 Series, there's no exception. They've simplified the air vents, and it looks good. It looks better. We will cover the infotainment system in a moment, but first I'd like to talk about what they did over here. You don't get any swivel wheel, but then do you really need a swivel wheel for the 1 Series? 51,000 euros. I would say I think it deserves a swivel right here, because I don't want to be touching the infotainment system all the time. In fact, to touch the infotainment system, I have to bend my back a bit. So it's, what if I just want to keep my back there and touch the, touch the swivel wheel. And then I noticed a bit of a funny contrast. Over here, you get those beautiful buttons, piano black, and then a touch of aluminum. You look at the door, you notice the window buttons are just hard plastic. Okay. Otherwise, you do get a panoramic sunroof, which is good. That's a must. That's interesting. And when it comes to practicality solutions, it should be noted that BMW, Audi, and Mercedes, you don't really look at these cars for practicality. You're getting it for the badge, especially if you're looking at their hatchbacks. This does have the essential practicality you need. So 2 cup holders over there with a 12-volt socket that's located right there as if it were an afterthought. Okay. You do get a wireless cell phone recharge. Then as you look up here, or this area, you're greeted with hard plastic and a little storage space as if it was an afterthought. What is happening over here? And then you get a glove box over there, which, yes. Okay, this glove box is a bit shallow, but it's spacious from above. And then central console storage, which is shallow as well. Over to the infotainment system of the BMW 1 Series new generation. The climate control is also there. So as you can tell, they've simplified this whole area. They moved everything to the screen. But then to be fair, they're not alone doing this. The PSA group, which is now known as Stellantis, they started doing this about like 5 years ago almost. So, or even 10 years ago, if I'm correct. Because it's, and I'm not sure I was a fan of that system either, because it's like putting all eggs in one basket. Now towards the back seat of the BMW 1 Series, I have to say, first of all, the seat is a bit firm. It's like sitting on a bench. And the door, like you see, the door handle is nice, but inwards there's this plastic detail to it. And it's good, but it just feels a bit empty. It feels like something is missing, especially given 51,000 euros, you see. You don't get backseat pockets. You just get air vents down there with 2 charging ports. You get this armrest right here, at least. And 2 cup holders of fixed sizes. That's a plus. That's good. Now it is time to check out the boot space of the BMW 1 Series, but there is already something to note. This particular 1 Series does not have the electric rear door. 51,000 euros, guys. First thing to remark is that the boot lip is good, but the body paint sticks out a lot over here. So in long terms, you just need to be careful. The boot floor is not adjustable, but you do get additional space underneath. And well, I mean, this has me thinking it will move, but it's not. I mean, this area is fixed. And if you want, you can fold down the rear seats for additional volume. Other than that, I don't see much practicality solutions. I don't even see a 12-volt socket anywhere. Either I haven't looked properly, or I just don't see it. There's a net over here. There's a hook over there. Maybe it's good for your accessories, for additional practicality solutions. So here's my conclusion of the 2024 new generation BMW 1 Series. For a price of 51,000 euros, the biggest value would lie in the BMW badge and its performance, its driving. Obviously, it's unquestionable. It has a long reputation for this, and it beats the Volkswagen Group and Mercedes in this regard. In fact, for me, when it comes to small cars, BMW always seemed better than Mercedes, because BMW was born from small cars. Whereas when it comes to Mercedes, they were born from trucks and limousines. So for them to compete in a small car segment was a bit interesting as we speak. But then for this 1 Series, it's not pink roses. For a price of 51,000 euros, when we're talking equipment list, forget it. It's the complete opposite of South Korean and Japanese competitors. And also when it comes down to the design is different. It's completely different. There was a time BMW was very proud. They were very passionate. They looked aggressive. Now, for this 1 Series, they kind of humbled it. They made it look like a hatchback version of a Z Series, if I'm correct. It's the BMW Roadster. So that's why I said I have mixed feelings about this. The interior, beautiful. They tried to go down the route of simplicity and modernized it. But then on the other side of the scale, it seemed like there were parts that seemed a bit, it suffered similar problems to my experience with the iX. Now, this is just my thought, but I'm very sure and optimistic that this BMW 1 Series will still be a very ideal company car, and also very ideal for city use and for BMW fanboys who want a true taste of driving pleasure. Because after all, since it's the 1 Series, it means it's lightweight and it should be interesting to drive. So don't forget to like, comment and subscribe, and stay tuned for more videos that are on the run. I will see you all next time.